Hello students, today we will do chapter 2 electrostatic potential and capacitance. The chapter has two parts. The first part is about the electrostatic potential and the another concept is capacitance. Now let us start what we have studied in standard 11th. Now if you remember, we have taken two types of potential energy in 11th, that was elastic potential energy and gravitational potential energy. In both these cases, the work was done against spring force or the gravitational force. And when the work was done against the spring force or a gravitational force, this work was stored in the form of the potential energy. Now what was the work done against the gravitational force was a block was placed on the surface of the earth. The mass of the block was m. Now this block of mass m was raised to a height h. The gravitational force acting on the block was in vertically downward direction. Suppose the block is raised to a height h. So this was a height by which the block was raised from the surface of the earth, and the energy stored here was mgh. This much work was done against the gravitational force, and this work done against the gravitational force was known as the gravitational potential energy of a body. This was the gravitational potential energy of a body. Now at this point means at a height h, your entire work was converted into the potential energy and it gets stored in the body. Here the kinetic energy is 0. Now if I release this body, it falls downward and the potential is converted into the kinetic energy. This potential energy is converted into kinetic energy, but at any point the sum of the potential and kinetic energy remains constant. That is, the mechanical energy is always conserved. So the gravitational force is a conservative force. The gravitational force is the conservative force. So this was our gravitational potential energy. In the same way, when a spring, one end of the spring was connected to the block and the body was pulled or the spring was stretched, the potential energy was stored in the form of the elastic potential energy. Whatever work we do, that was stored in the form of potential energy, and it was known as the elastic potential energy. Now as soon as we release this, where x was the extension in the spring, or we can compress the spring also. Now when we release this object, again the potential energy was converted into the kinetic energy. At any point the sum of kinetic and potential energy remains constant. So this spring force, this was a work done against the spring force. Here the work was done against the gravitational force. This work done was also independent of the path followed. So the spring force and gravitational force was a conservative force, and whatever work we have done in these cases against the forces was stored in the form of potential energy. In this chapter, we will do the work against the Coulombian force. Here the work will be done against the Coulombian force, or we will do the work in electric field. Now whenever we do the work against any force, our work will be stored in the form of the potential energy. So in this chapter we will be doing the work against the Coulombian force in an electric field, and that amount of work done will be stored in a form of potential energy which is known as electrostatic potential energy. So we will see what is the difference between the electrostatic potential energy and electrostatic potential also. So similarly, the mass, the potential energy was stored in the mass of the body. Here in this chapter, our electrostatic potential energy will be stored in the charge, on which we will do the work to move it from one point to another. Here the body was moved from surface to a height h. Here the object which was attached to the spring is stretched, or you can compress it. In any case, your work will be stored in the spring. The sum of potential and kinetic energy always remains constant, that is, the mechanical energy is conserved. And such forces, so now we have a gravitational force, the spring force, and in this branch it will be the Coulombian force. All these forces are conservative forces, and we will see whatever work we will do, that work will be independent of the path followed. So let us take an example where we will do the work against the electric field. Here the work was done against the gravitational field, or the work was done against the force of gravity or gravitational force. So same way we have to perform, or we have to do the work against the electric field or electric force or a Coulombian force. So let us take an example where we have an electric field of any charge. So we will consider a point charge whose electric field is spherical. So let us see what happens when we do the work against the electric field. So to understand the electrostatic potential energy, let us consider a point charge Q. Now this is our source charge. Now if you remember, the electric field of this source charge was spherical. Electric field means the space around the charged particle where its effect is prevailing, and it was spherical, and we have drawn the field lines, a big arrow, then small arrow like this. So this is spherical, the electric field of the source charge. Let us say this is an origin. Now I have not drawn the entire sphere, so this is the entire sphere of radius r, or you can say this is the field of a source charge. Now in this source charge, in the electric field of source charge, we have to move a test charge from one point to the another. Let us assume that a point charge, say Q, now this Q is our test charge, is at point R, and we have to bring this test charge Q from point R to point P. Now clearly the electric field lines of this source charge is radially outward. So if I place any test charge in the electric field, it will be thrown away or it will be repelled. Now I have to do work against this source. So whatever amount of work I will do, that work will be stored in the form of a potential energy, which we call the electrostatic potential energy. So now what you have to do, you have to bring a charge small q, this is our test charge, from point R to point P. The electric field is radially outward, it is away from the source charge. We assume that, now we have to take certain assumptions. We assume that this source is fixed. The source is fixed. It will not change its position. Now whenever I move this test charge in the field, it should not change its position. So the source charge is assumed to be fixed by some unknown force that we will see later on. For the time being, capital Q is fixed. We have to do the work to move a charge Q from point R to point P. The external force which we will apply is F external, that is denoted by F, EXT and L. So F external is the force which has to be done against the electric force. Now clearly the electric force is radially outward. So if I have to check whether the electric field is outward or the electric force is outward. If I keep any test charge here, it will be thrown out or it will move in the direction from O to R. So how much force I have to apply? The minimum force required is that this F external should be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction to the electric force. So whatever amount of electric force is there at point R, that much force is required to be done to move this charge Q from point R to point P. Clearly, in the case of this, a body is placed on the ground. The gravitational force is mg. This was a gravitational force. Now, how much force you should apply, the external force, so that you are able to lift this body? So, the minimum force is, at least you should apply the mg force, and it should be in opposite direction. So, the electric force acting on Q charge at point R is Fe, and the external force I have to do should be opposite to that. I have to move towards the source charge. So the magnitude should be same, but the direction should be opposite. So assumptions are, number one assumption, the source is assumed to be fixed at the origin by some unknown force. The external force which we need or which is required to be done should be against the electric force. Now, if you apply the external force opposite to the electric force having same magnitude, then the resultant force acting on the charge is zero. So the acceleration should be zero. So how the work should be done? See, the concept of the chapter is you have to do the work against electric force. This is the concept of the chapter. Now whatever amount of work we will do, that work should be stored in the form of potential energy. So we are trying to find out, if I spend 5 joule of energy in moving a charge Q from point R to P, this 5 joule will be stored in charge Q. Like our gravitational potential energy was stored in a body of mass m. So there the gravitational potential energy was stored in the mass of the body. Here electrostatic potential energy is stored in the charge, and the work is done against the electric field. Remember, electric field is radially outward. So I have to move inward, or I have to come towards source. So I need to spend my energy. So if I spend my energy 5 joule, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So that 5 joule will be stored in charge Q. Now if I release that Q charge at any point, say point P, that 5 joule will be retrieved back, but that potential will be converted into kinetic, and the total mechanical energy always remains constant. So what are the assumptions? Remember, the first assumption, the source should be fixed by some unknown force. Later on we will see how it is fixed. Second assumption is that work should be done in such a way that the acceleration is zero. Work should be done against the electric field in such a way that the resultant force is zero. Now there is an electric force acting on the charge. So I will spend equal amount of energy against the field. So my F external is opposite to the electric force. So resultant force comes out to be 0. Resultant force 0 means the resultant acceleration is 0. Acceleration 0 means the work should be done with a constant velocity. So the second assumption is whenever we do a work in the electric field, the acceleration should be 0 or work should be done in such a way that the velocity remains constant. So now how the velocity remains constant? How the work should be done? So I have to move from R to P. This is my path. I have to move a unit positive charge. I have to move a charge Q from point R to P in such a way that acceleration should be 0. So what I will do, I will divide this entire path into the small element, and the path is a one dimension. So this is called line element. This is line element. One small path is line element. It will be denoted by dr vector, and the direction of electric field intensity is radially outward. So if we require the direction of this force, electric force, it will be radially outward or from O to P, and our external force should be from P to O or R to O. So clear, it should be clear that the second assumption is work should be done in such a way that acceleration should be 0, and to make acceleration 0, the velocity should remain constant. And for velocity to remain constant, the entire path should be divided into small elements. So now instead of bringing Q charge directly from R to P, I will move, suppose this distance is R to P is 5 meter. So I will not suddenly move 5 meter, otherwise there will be the loss of energy. जैसे we need to wind the spring in a toy. अपने कोई खिलौने में स्प्रिंग है और तुम्हें चाबी माननी है उसको, तो यू विल वाइंड द स्प्रिंग स्टेप बाय स्टेप. एक की घुमाएंगे, दूसरी चाबी, थर्ड टर्न, फोर्थ टर्न. इफ यू डू अ सडन टर्न and when you place that toy on the ground, it will not go far away, because whatever energy you have spent, that is lost. It is not stored. So first your work should be stored in the potential energy form, and when I keep that toy on the ground, that potential is converted into kinetic. So sudden work is not allowed. If you do a sudden work, suddenly I jump from R to P, there will be a loss of energy. So instead of jumping 5 meter, from 5 meter I come to 4.9, 4.8, 4.6, 4.5. The work should be done slowly and slowly. Then your entire work or whatever amount of energy you spend, that will be stored in it, and it will be easily retrieved. It can be easily retrieved. So F external should be equal to minus Fe, and I will move by a small path. Now suppose I move for a small path, a line element dr vector. So small amount of work done from R to P will be equal to, so I have to move, my initial position is R, final position is P. So I am doing small work done, so it will be equal to F external dot dr, that is displacement. Now I need to find out the total work done. So this is delta W, delta W, delta W, delta W. Now if I keep on doing this work till I get to the final position, then either I will do the summation or total work done from R to P is equal to integration from R to P F external dot dr vector. So this much amount of work is required to be done against the electric field to move a charge Q from point R to point P. This much amount of work is required to be done means you have to do minimum this much amount of work so that you are able to move a particle. The minimum force required to lift this body is mg. So if gravitational force acting on the body is 5 Newton downward, minimum force you required is 5 Newton but in the upward direction. So this is the work done. Now F external is equal to minus Fe. Therefore, the work done to move a charge from point R to P is equal to minus F of E dot dr, and the limit becomes from point R to P. So this much work is required to be done. Again, you can say the negative sign indicate that the work is done against the electric field. So this much amount of work you will do to move a unit positive charge, to move a charge Q. We will see, we will also take this charge as a unity. So at that time our terminology will change. Today we have a charge Q. Instead of that, if we have a value 1 means a unit positive charge, then our terminology will change. So this much amount of work is required to be done against the electric field to move a unit positive charge, to move a charge Q from point R to point P. The work is done against the electric force. The work is done against the electric force. The work is done in such a way that the velocity remains constant and we assume that the source remains fixed. Its configuration should not change. Its configuration should not change means in the first chapter we have seen the test charge should be as small as possible. So it should not be like that. While I am bringing a charge Q or while I am moving a charge from point R to P, the source gets repelled away. So energy will not be stored and your work will be wasted. So this much amount of work is required to be done. Now we know that the potential energy is due to the position of a charge. Now when we are at a point R, the charge Q possesses some potential energy. And when I am at a point P, I am moving against the source. So my potential energy should increase. As we move away, you are moving against the gravity field or gravitational field. So potential energy keep on increasing. At the highest point, it possesses potential energy. So whenever we do the work against the field, the potential energy increases. In this case, when I am moving from R to P, I am doing the work against the electric force. So the potential energy should increase. So this work done give rise to the potential energy difference. So if I move a charge Q, from R to P, it will give rise to potential energy difference. And this work done from R to P is denoted by delta U, that is change in potential energy, and it becomes final potential energy minus initial potential energy. So what is the conclusion of this topic is, whenever I do a work to move a charge Q from one point to another in the field. The work is done in the field from one point to another. The work is done against the source. This work done against the source will give rise to potential energy difference, or the complete name is electrostatic potential energy difference. The complete name is electrostatic potential energy difference. So this is the work done against the electric force. So what is potential energy difference? Now if we need to define what is potential energy difference, so simply work required to be done. When I say work required to be done, I mean compulsion, the external force should be at least equal to the electric force. So work required to be done by external force, the work is required to be done against the work is done by the external force, and the external force should be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction to the electric force in moving without accelerating. Then within bracket you have to mention whenever we move a charge, it should be without acceleration. So let us define the potential energy difference, or the complete name is electrostatic potential energy difference. So work required to be done, work required to be done by external force. Now how much should be the external force? So equal and opposite to electric force. So how much external force you will apply? Whatever electric force is acting on it. I place a Q charge here. I find out the electric force. Electric force can be found by Coulombian force KQQ upon the distance between O and R square. So if it comes out to be say 5 Newton, at least I have to apply 5 Newton force, but again, so work required to be done by external force which is equal and opposite to electric force in moving. So how should you move? In moving without accelerating. Now without accelerating means the acceleration should be 0 or velocity should be constant. And what you will do so that the acceleration is 0, so we divide the entire path into the small element. This is one line element. This is called as one line element. So without accelerating, in moving, charge Q from one point to another point in electric field. Here 2 points are R and P. So in moving a charge Q from one point to another point in electric field is called electrostatic potential energy difference. It is called electrostatic potential energy difference, that is delta U, and it becomes final minus initial. So what is the potential energy difference? It is final minus initial, and the work is done from R to P, and the formula is minus Fe dot dr. We have moved from point R to P. So this is the concept of the potential energy difference. In one line I can write work done from R to P equal to minus R to P Fe dot dr. If I am not writing minus Fe, it should be F external. This is called potential energy difference. So delta U. Potential energy difference is final potential energy minus the initial potential energy. So we wind up this concept by this one equation and it is work required to be done by external force equal and opposite to electric force in moving. Now this is our assumption, or it should be taken care of, that the acceleration should be 0 in moving charge q from one point, example R, to another point P in electric field is called, this work, whatever work we have done is called electrostatic potential energy difference. So this is one concept of electrostatic potential energy difference. Now this is the potential energy difference as per our syllabus, that this work done give rise to the potential energy difference. Now let us say whether it is a conservative force or not. If your Coulombian force is we have done the work against the Coulombian force. Now if Coulombian force is conservative, this work done should not depend on the initial and the final position of the path followed. Our initial position was R, final position was P. I moved in a straight line. Instead of this, suppose I move from this path, say R to S, S to P, and the path is zigzag, then also answer comes out to be same. Now let us see how we will do this. Work done from R to P is equal to minus integration R to P Fe dot dr. Now this can be written as electric force at point R. So that will be minus integration KQQ upon R square. The direction of electric field or electric force radially outward denoted by R cap dot displacement opposite to the field, that minus sign is already there, so any vector can be written as unit vector into its magnitude. And suppose the distance of R is RR, small r for the position, capital R for the name of point, and this is RP. This is equal to, therefore work done from R to P is equal to R cap dot R cap, it is 1. So minus KQQ integration R of R to P 1 upon R square dr. So we have to do this integration. Now 1 upon R square integration, that is minus 1 by R. So work done from R to P is equal to KQQ 1 by R. The integration of 1 upon R square is minus 1 by R. Integration 1 upon R square dr is equal to minus 1 by R. So I substitute this minus 1 by R here. So minus minus becomes plus. So minus sign is gone. Initial limit RR RP. Therefore, work done from R to P is equal to KQQ 1 upon final limit 1 upon initial. So this is the situation. Now you clearly see that our work done depend, all these are constant, depend on the final position 1 upon final minus 1 upon initial. So even if I take zigzag path anywhere I have moved from R to P, in the integration we will have 1 upon final minus 1 upon initial. So this is another formula. Now if I open this bracket, this becomes, let me write this here, so it becomes KQQ upon R, opening the bracket, minus KQQ upon RR. This is called the potential energy at point P. So this is my UP. And this is called the initial potential energy, that is U. So this is how we get work done from R2P as UP minus UR. And now the formula becomes, if I say what is UP, that is KQ Q upon RP minus UR KQ Q upon RQ. So I add one more equal to sign here and it becomes K source test charge bracket 1 upon final position vector minus 1 upon initial. So this is the complete concept of our topic in one equation. So you have to remember this complete equation which defines the entire theory. How I will read this? I am reading all this equation. The work done to move a charge Q from R to P. The work should be done against the work should be done against Coulombian force. So minus Fe dot dr. When I do this work done, it gives rise to the potential energy difference. It is called electrostatic potential energy difference or electric potential energy difference or simply potential difference. That is final potential energy minus initial potential energy. And if I do this integration part, it becomes KQQ 1 upon final position vector minus 1 upon initial position vector. So let us say this is our equation 1. Now what is one conclusion? From equation 1, it is clear that work done depends only on initial and final position and not on path followed. That is, Coulombian force or electric force is conservative force. So the electric force is a conservative force. That is proved after doing this necessary integration. Now if I bring this Q charge from R to P and if I keep it freely, then the same potential energy difference, whatever the potential difference we have obtained, say 5 joule, it is the work done only. So that 5 joule will be converted into the kinetic energy. It can be retrieved back and the form of energy will be changed. So if I bring Q charge at point P and leave it freely, then again it will move away from the source. It will move from P to R, and in this situation I will say the work is done by the field. This is the expression for this UP minus UR is the work done against the field. Now at point P you free that charge Q. It is left freely. So it will move from point P to R. In that situation, the work is done by the field. And work done by the field is opposite to the work done by the external field. So this is the first concept of chapter 2. And from this concept, we have discussed one point, that it is the Coulombian force is conservative. Then we will see the sub part of this topic. This is the potential energy difference. Now we will, in the next lecture we will see what is the electrostatic potential energy, only energy. Now this is energy difference, and we will also see the energy difference concept has significance in physics as compared to absolute potential energy. खाली potential energy, अकेले potential energy has no significance. We need a difference. Like we need a height difference or temperature difference in our daily life. So the difference play a significant role in physics as compared to the absolute values. So we wind up our first lecture of this chapter 2 here. Have a good day.